Why I keep coming back to the Philippines. This is the topic of today's video, and you guys might remember the video I released last year where I shared the story about how I met my first Filipina girlfriend in Hong Kong, and that was also without meeting her. Basically in Hong Kong I don't think I would have visited the Philippines so quickly. By the way, recording this video here from beautiful Nha Trang in South Vietnam, or as the local Vietnamese people call it, Nha Trang. Yeah, beautiful day here, 8 a.m. in the morning, with a beautiful view. I think only the Philippines can beat that kind of settings and views, right? So yeah, I released that video. I met my first girlfriend in Hong Kong. You can watch the video if you want to know all the details and also what actually happened later on. So she of course asked me, I don't remember if she asked me or invited me to come to the Philippines, or if it was my idea to visit the Philippines, but nevertheless, I didn't know anything about the Philippines at the time. Of course, I knew where the country is located, but I had no clue about the Philippines or Filipinos. Although I must say, a few years earlier, I lived in California, in Southern California, in San Diego, and the hotel I worked for, there was a massive workforce consisting of Filipino people, immigrants, people who immigrated, Filipinos who immigrated to the States, and also were not only first generation but also already second or even third generation immigrants. So I worked with these Filipinos there. It was a great pleasure, by the way, I remember, but that's all I knew. I just knew that Filipinos actually are very nice people, fun to work with, kind people. That's all I knew. Yeah, but I didn't know anything. I didn't know that the Philippines was like a very popular retirement place, especially for elderly guys who are coming from the United States. By the way, if you want to retire in the Philippines, then I know a great immigration service who can assist you with that. It is Filipino Visa, and they offer reliable, fast and premium visa assistance, not only if you wish to retire in the Philippines, if you want to move, let's say, from the States to the Philippines, but also if you want to bring your fiance or spouse over to America. They will help you with all the legal matters. They offer consultations, in-person assistance in the Philippines, inside the Philippines. They help you with document preparation, travel matters, travel assistance, hotel stays in the Philippines, in Manila, for example. So therefore, it is the only visa service I would recommend. Especially if you want to apply for a spousal or fiancé visa. The link is in the description, check it out. So back to my story here. So I bought a ticket from Hong Kong to Manila. It's about a 2-hour flight or something like that. And because my girlfriend at the time, she was in Manila. She came actually from Manila, from Las Piñas, which is actually, I think, belongs to a neighboring province already. But so of course I wanted to visit her home. I was interested to see how she lives, where she's from. So I was naturally interested. I bought a ticket, flew down, and arrived at the time old airport, Ninoy Aquino Airport. I think at the time, I remember it was a very small and old terminal. That was in 2006, by the way. We are talking 2006. before I forget to mention this, it's almost 20 years ago, and it seems like ages, yeah, because at the time there was no Facebook, no YouTube, no nothing. This was the time when it all just got started, I think in 2007, right? And I arrived at this old airport there. I remember it was busy. And then my girlfriend, of course, she told me she would pick me up, and she did. I came outside of the terminal, she was waiting there already. And then she said, okay, let's go. I have organized the transport for us, and now I will bring you to your hotel. And the transportation was not just a bus or a regular taxi, so it was a nice, I remember a nice big black SUV. I forgot the brand. Was it a Ford or a Chrysler or I don't know, General Motors, no idea, Mitsubishi, I don't know. It was a big fat SUV, and I thought it's maybe her friends picking us up. Maybe she asked her friend or her brother, I don't know. But later, when we arrived at my hotel in Alabang, I saw that she paid the driver. So, and that ride was not inexpensive. So she already paid some money to properly pick me up, although it wasn't necessary, right? And then the second thing was that, my hotel was located in Alabang, which is also near to Manila. And I was very surprised because she arranged the hotel for me. So she said to me, don't worry about hotel booking. I took care of everything. I was very surprised, especially now in hindsight, if you hear of all these negative experience some guys have with Filipinas, complaining, they're just asking for money and begging and this and that, or scamming. No, my girlfriend, she arranged for everything. So, and that hotel, I remember at the time, Alabang was pretty much not developed yet like it is today, 20 years later. The Alabang town center, the open air shopping mall, was already in place, but surrounding that shopping mall area, there was nothing much. It was free field, free area. But they put up a hotel already. It was a 4-star hotel, I forgot the name. And my girlfriend arranged a room there for me for like 2 or 3 nights, I forgot. And by the way, this is also one nice hotel I stayed already. Top floor, I have a beautiful view over the seaside here. So she paid for the hotel. Second surprise, I didn't need to worry about anything. And the next day I remember we drove to Manila with a taxi all the way up north, and we were passing these slum areas also. I remember the first time I've ever seen something like that, This is all developed now. At the time there was basically not much free field, and then you had slums, I remember. And I pointed that out to my girlfriend, and she just didn't really notice it, or didn't want to notice it, or didn't really take care, because she was used to it. But for me, I was like, I was like watching these, because it was also interesting, how these poor people actually lived. And then later on we visited the Greenbelt Mall. I remember, look at this, isn't that beautiful? What a view, huh? Nha Trang or Nha Trang is one of the most popular beach cities in Vietnam. People from Saigon or Ho Chi Minh City coming, people from all over Vietnam coming here, and also you have more tourism now, Western people, and a lot of Russians are also here. And Nha Trang is their favorite place for the Russians. So if you don't like Russians, don't come here. If you like Russians, you come here. Okay. I will do a separate Nha Trang video because I have something to say about the place and the city, but I will do this in a separate video. Anyway, back to my story here. We went to Greenbelt Mall. This mall was already in place in 2006. I remember I was very impressed by this mall. For those of you guys who know that mall, I don't need to introduce it, but you know, it's an open air mall basically, and I knew these kind of malls from the United States, especially in Arizona and California. But it was a very nice mall. We had some lunch, I remember, in one of these upscale Filipino restaurants at the time. And yeah, then I think on our first evening after my arrival, it was time to meet her parents. So she also arranged that, you know. And so for your information, I think I visited the Philippines in either June or July in 2006, and my girlfriend and me, we were together for like probably 3 months, something like that. We were going out together in Hong Kong. And yeah, I remember she asked me, so what is your favorite dish? What do you like to eat? And I said, yeah, potatoes, you know, like mashed potatoes, boiled potatoes, for example, some meat, vegetable, German style food, you know. German people are potato heads, you know. So we arrived during dinner time at her house in Las Piñas, and yeah, her mom prepared dinner for us. Remember, I went inside the house. It was a small house, but okay. And we had dinner, and really her mom prepared mashed potatoes. She tried to accommodate my taste, and I found that great also. Of course, my girlfriend informed her mom if she could kind of cook that kind of, the food was not perfectly German style, but I could see her mom put in the effort, and I was really touched by that, you know. So we had dinner with her mom. I don't remember whether her father also was there. I think yes, but I don't remember clearly. So we had dinner, and then after that we left. Back to my hotel, I remember. But the only thing which confused me a little bit was she couldn't stay with me. She couldn't stay with me overnight in my hotel, and I didn't understand it at the time because I was not so much aware about Filipino culture, you know. Like in Hong Kong, totally different story. She was away from her parents, you know. She stayed with me and everything, you know, no problem. But in Manila, she basically escorted me to my hotel room. We hung out a little bit in my room. We talked, we chatted, but then she said, "No, it's time for me to go home." And I said, what do you mean? Yeah, no, I have to leave, you know, my parents are waiting for me. I say, what do you mean? I mean, you cannot stay with me? No, she cannot stay with me, she explained to me, because, you know, here the clocks in the Philippines are ticking a little bit differently. So anyway, I had to accept it, you know. That was the only bullet I had to bite at the time. Didn't really like it, but so I guess I would have to wait until she would return back to Hong Kong, right? So that we could have some fun, right? You know what I mean? Some bedroom fun. And of course, we also did some sightseeing and stuff. She showed me Rizal Park, Intramuros in Manila, all these typical sites there. So overall, that was really a great experience. You know, she took care, my girlfriend at the time, she took care of everything. She arranged for everything. She tried to make my stay as comfortable as she could. so that I would get a very, very good impression also of maybe the country or the city. And this is actually the message of my story, why I keep coming back to the Philippines. This visit and how it all went made a big impression on me, if I want or don't want. So, and I think this is still lasting today. In other videos I mentioned, of course, the Filipinas themselves are also a reason why I keep coming back to the Philippines, you know, because I made my first experiences with Asian women in Hong Kong with Filipinas before I met the Indonesians, you know. So it left a mark on me, but this travel experience, visiting my girlfriend in Manila at the time, that was really great. So yeah, I felt welcome. She took care of everything. I got to know the country, the people there, her family also, her mom, you know. So first impressions last. You can imagine that I was very positively impressed by this whole thing. And I also must add that at the time I was not really so serious about this whole thing with her, but now of course in hindsight I can evaluate it much better, and looking at all the data points now, I must clearly say that she was really serious about me and our relationship, because otherwise she would, for example, not have invited me to her parents' house and meeting the parents and having dinner. You don't do that if you are not really sure that your boyfriend is the guy you maybe even marry later, you know, because you cannot just bring every week another guy into your parents' house, right? As a Filipina, this is not the culture there. You would lose face big time as a Filipina. You would be considered a slut, you know. So she was really serious. I remember even on my birthday in April, even 3 months before I visited her in Manila, she bought me 2 cookbooks in Hong Kong. And she knew I was working as a chef, so she bought me 2 cookbooks, and they were not cheap, because, you know, at the back of the book cover, at the back side, you can see the price sometimes, and she forgot to take off the price, or I don't know, maybe it's not custom in the Philippines, but anyway, I could see that these books were quite expensive, and she had very little money. I knew that at the time, but she went out of her way to purchase these 2 books. So then later she didn't pay for my flight, but she arranged for the hotel, and you know, they were not cheap also. So she was serious about this whole thing. And there's another video I released about how it all then broke up and ended in a very in a disaster basically, but because that was due to my own fault and my behavior at the time, and I was younger, you know, I was 29 years old. I had different interests and different things in mind. So you can watch this video if you want, and if you want to find out how this whole thing, which looked so promising, actually was ending in a big catastrophe. But this is still still having a big impression on me, this first visit. You know, if you have such a experience, first time experience in the Philippines, then of course you are kind of biased also for the rest of your life probably. Although yes, over the years, and I lived also in the Philippines and I traveled there millions of times, long stay, short stay, longer stay, shorter stays. Of course, you know, the Philippines is not heaven on earth. The Philippines is a country with many difficulties, you know. I'm not talking about the people or the Filipinos here in particular, but also, you know, The Philippines, for example, is not a country with the best infrastructure, for example, so you will have your challenges. I will not talk about this here, but the hardware there is certainly questionable. We don't want to even talk about politics, but the people, the software is, I would say, overall nicer than the hardware. And although, yeah, there are people who always also complain about the people and the Filipinas, and this is not my topic here today. I wanted to share my first experience in the Philippines, how it happened, why I made this trip, and why I therefore keep coming always back to the Philippines. Yeah? This welcoming culture, this mabuhay culture, which also my girlfriend at the time displayed, left a big mark. And yeah, and I still also think that the Philippines is a great place for retirement, you know, for many different reasons. I will not go into today in this video. But if you are also interested in retirement in the Philippines and you need legal help, you need help with legal matters, then check out the link in the description, Filipino Visa. These guys are helping you with your plans to move permanently to the Philippines, or the other way around, if you want to bring your Filipina partner, spouse, fiance over to the United States. So with that being said, I'm checking out for today here from beautiful Vietnam. And actually, when you would start to swimming from here all the way in this direction east, you would end up in the Philippines. The Philippines is not so far away from here. So thanks for watching. Looking forward what you guys have to say. How was your first trip in the Philippines? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it a disaster? How did you like the Philippines during or on your first visit? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Under which circumstances did you visit the Philippines first? Did you just was it like a blind date, like a blind trip, or did you did some research, or do you have some friends in the Philippines, or do you know some guys there, or you watched a bunch of YouTube videos? So because I at the time didn't know anything about the Philippines. I had my girl, I met her in Hong Kong, you know. We were going out for a few months, and then it happened that she had to go back to Manila, and I wanted to visit her, you know. And this is how I got to know the Philippines and the country and the culture, and yeah, still today it's kind of part of my life. So thanks for watching. I'm gonna see you in one of my next videos. Take care, guys. Bye bye.